Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the first grade concept of skip counting, specifically how we can use 2s, 5s, and 10s to skip count to find numbers of large objects, and we'll do it in 5 minutes or less. So let's see if we can start with probably our easiest skip counting, and that's by 10s. So if we're going to skip count by 10s, that means we're going to name every 10th number, starting at 1. And so we're going to start with our first number of 10. And then the next number that we're going to name when we're skip counting by 10s is 20. And then 30, 40, 50. And hopefully you're noticing a pattern as I'm writing these numbers down. 70, 80, 90, 100. We can go past 100 to 110, but we'll stop right there. You should notice that every ones place, this is the ones place right here, I'm going to write that up at the top, has a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And the tens place, that's the second spot right here, it just goes up by 1. If you look at just the tens place, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it goes up to 10. And really, it's not really a 10, it's in the tens spot. It's a 0 in the 10 spot, and we get a 1 in the 100 spot because 10, 10 makes 100. But that's what skip counting by tens means, is we're just counting every 10. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So those are numbers you're going to need to know really well in first grade. Now what happens if we skip count by 5s? So I am going to write a 5 right there. When we skip count by 5s, we name every fifth number. So we would say 5 and then 10, and then 15 and then 20, and then 25, 30, 35, 40. And we're going to go on like this, and you should see another pattern coming here. That our ones place when we're skip counting by 5s is going to always either be a 5 or a 0. The reason I wrote it like this is because when we skip count by 5s, you're always going to say two different ones places. You're going to say a 5 and then one of your 10s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, so on and so forth. So you go back and forth between these 5s in the ones place. So we have all of these 5s right here in the ones place. And then we're going to always count our 10s, because if you take 10, so let me take 10 right here. If you take half of that, you're going to get 5. So half of 10 is 5. So when we're skip counting by 5s, we're going to say our 5 and then the 10, then the next 5 and then the next 10, and then the next 5 and then the next 10. And as you can tell also, the tens place just goes up by 1. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just like we do with the tens place. So that's how we skip count by 5s, skip count by 10s. Let's see what happens when we skip count by 2s. When we skip count by 2s, we are still following a pattern, but it's going to be slightly different. So I'm going to write it on a clean board here. And I'm just going to write it in this row because this is going to be my first row of 10. So skip counting by 2s means we say every other number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I'm going to say my 10. You notice I didn't say 5 like when we skip count by 5s. But then I'm going to write the next row. So it's going to be 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So maybe you see the pattern, but let me write another row, and I bet you can find the pattern. 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Well, I'm saying my 10s, just like I did for my 5s and my 10s. So 10s are very important. But take a look at the ones place of each of these numbers here. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then a 10. And I've got a 2, a 4, a 6, 8, and then the next 10. And I've got another 2, 4, 6, 8, and then the next 10. So when you skip count by 2s, the ones digits are always going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. And it's the tens digit that changes from the 1s to the 2s and the 3s.